We have got an amazing show for you tonight. On the Fly Productions, you will be amazed by the story of these folks. This is the Your Little Castle show coming up. Stay with us. And welcome everybody to the Your Little Castle TV show on ABC 30. I'm Paul Brown. I'm sitting in tonight for the Cardinal Cowboy, who's taking a little bit of time off. Bless his heart, the guy works his tail off. So tonight I get the pleasure of sitting in for the Cowboy. Again, my name is Paul Brown. I'm with 93.1 and 101.7 FM, KBDZ, classic rock station. Also do, well, I've been around forever, you know. I've been in St. Louis for a long time. So some of you know may remember me from some of that. But tonight I'm sitting in the Cowboy's chair. So it's a big responsibility. We all know the Cardinal Cowboy, what a great job he does. He does so much for the community. He does so much for local businesses and business owners and everybody else. We love the Cowboy. So it's a pleasure for me to be sitting in here tonight. And we are in the studio right now, here at the Your Little Castle TV studio with Jennifer Ragan and Jason Whicker from On the Fly Productions. Wow, thank you guys so much for coming in today. This is a real honor. This is a special show. This is a special show for us. Aww. Because we don't normally get to talk to folks with the kind of talent that you guys work with and the uniqueness of what you all do. So real quick, let me try to explain this. On the Fly Productions, I'm going to let them do a better job than I will, but On the Fly Productions makes people fly. Okay, that's one of the things they do. They make people fly. They work with stage shows and events, just all kinds of things. But their forte is making people on stage fly. We'll see some of that a little bit later. We'll get more of a detail. But Jennifer and Jason, thanks so much again for being here.
Of course.
Jennifer, this is like I said, this is so unique for this kind of an operation. There can't be many.
Well, the elevator pitch of what we do is if a human is in the air, we say yes. So you were really close. That was good. Because it takes such a unique skill set, insurance, equipment, not just lifting lights and equipment up in the air, but people specifically. But if we back it up a little bit, we're both musical theater background and entertainers and artists. And we didn't actually set out to start a business, but the business we wanted didn't exist. So
what was the business you wanted?
We wanted somebody to handle all the stress of what we do. We're just artists.
For our creative show ideas.
There you go. We had a show that we created many years ago in 2021 called Beautiful. And it was a Cirque show. We had a Broadway producer who threw his hat in the ring as our executive producer. Sadly, he passed away a couple months into it from a bad appliance that he had purchased, carbon monoxide poisoning. So we went out trying to figure out what to do next. Like, who will carry the insurance, the equipment, the people, the warehouse, help us produce and get our shows on the road, our dream. And that didn't exist. I mean, there's maybe 4 or 5 large companies in the country who do performer flying effects. I believe we're the only hybrid that not only does performer flying effects, rigging, choreography and training, but we also are a full service entertainment company. So I think that we then created the infrastructure and the company that we wanted to save us. Back in 2021, we created that company.
You became the company that you wanted to come and help you.
Yes.
Because nobody else would. Jason, what happened to the show Beautiful?
It's still on our shelf. It's waiting for the right backers to be able to afford it. We thought really big in that time. Not that we don't still, but when we think big with the clientele that can afford really big, like our cruise ship cruise lines, or Broadway, or some of the TV shows that we've worked with. So Beautiful's waiting. It's waiting for the right people.
Was there flying in Beautiful?
Oh,
a lot of flying.
There was so much flying.
So here's the thing, folks, is that a lot of what you guys do is kind of like Cirque du Soleil.
Correct.
If you've ever been to Vegas or seen a Cirque show somewhere, On the Fly Productions does a lot of what Cirque du Soleil folks do. It's kind of a circus show. It's a stage production. It's music involved. It's lights, camera, action. I mean, it's a huge production. Hey, I do want to take like I said, I'm subbing today for Cardinal Cowboy. Everybody knows the Cardinal Cowboy. We are going to take a second to show you what it is that Cardinal Cowboy does and why it is that Cardinal Cowboy is so special to St. Louis. And then we'll be back to talk with the folks from On the Fly Productions. His name is Carter Rethwich, but in St. Louis, he's known as the Cardinal Cowboy. He's a well-known fixture in the stands at sporting events in the Gateway City. He's one of its greatest cheerleaders, a super fan like no other. When he makes his rounds at almost every home game, he shares his love for sports with the rest of fandom with a smile, a cheer, some positive encouragement, and lots and lots of selfies and pics. But the Cardinal Cowboy was born of a tragic incident. Rethwich was an aspiring athlete in high school and college. He dreamed of playing in the big leagues, but those dreams ended when he and 3 of his college friends were hit with a devastating crash by a 5-time drunk driver. One of his best friends died. Carter suffered a critical head injury. The trauma put him in a coma for 6 days. The doctors said he was never expected to function again. Those expectations never came true. He fought back and finished college. He was determined to prove the doctors wrong. Among other inspirations, it was his love of baseball that kept him going. And from his near-death experience, the Cardinal Cowboy emerged. His goal in life became to inspire others with positivity despite the odds, to help people believe in themselves and achieve their dreams.
So after my coma, I realized that it was up to me if I was going to accomplish my goals, if I was going to reach my dreams. Despite what the naysayers would say, the people that were discouraging me, like they do everyone, it's up to me if I'm going to make it. Don't listen to the naysayers. It's up to you. You decide whether you're going to succeed, whether you're going to reach your goals. Dream, and then always, always chase your dreams. Never give up. Giddy up.
And welcome back to the Your Little Castle TV show here on ABC 30 TV. And again, my name is Paul Brown. I'm sitting in tonight for the Cowboy. Glad that you are with us, and so glad that the folks from On the Fly Productions are also here with us in Your Little Castle tonight. Jennifer Ragan and Jason Whicker from the On the Fly Productions. One of the things I think is interesting is that you ended up on, it was America's Got Talent,
Correct.
The TV show. So you guys were in front of the whole crew at America's Got Talent, right?
Yep.
Absolutely.
And you made it to the quarterfinals.
That's right.
And they called you what? What did they call you?
The Mothman.
The Mothman, yeah.
The Mothman, which were characters from Beautiful, that first show that we made.
Okay.
So they were the warriors that wore these kilts, and they had a leader who was on a silks, and they flew and danced hip hop style. So they loved that mesh of hip hop and flying, which I think Jason is really unique in creating that.
Now, were you actually some of the performers in this thing?
He was the lead.
I was the lead performer in that one.
And what year are we talking here?
What was that? 2013? 2013?
I think it was 2013.
2013.
Yeah.
So was your company already in production? Was you wanted to use the name On the Fly Productions? They wouldn't let you.
Correct.
Right.
It was still conceptual at that time. I don't think we officially filed until January of 2014.
Correct.
So it was all kind of when we were searching. We were just trying to figure out what are we going to do next. We owned one harness. We had no insurance, no equipment. They rented out NJ Pack for us to rehearse for the week. It was a lot of learning. Obviously, the whole journey has been a ton of learning. Very expensive.
Millions of people saw
Yes.
you guys perform, saw your company in action. Did that lead you to new adventures? I mean, to
Absolutely.
opportunities?
Oh, yeah,
It
definitely.
had to. How could it not?
Right. We were able to take that, performance, and we've got a lot of attention from a lot of corporate gigs that we were able to then go do the same thing for those corporate gigs, even as far as over in the Middle East. We were able to use that as a bit of a launching point for the company that we started in January of 2014.
So you said corporate gigs, and that's, I know, one of the things that you would like to probably do more of. Is that right? Now, you're based in St. Louis, right? Which is not exactly, the entertainment capital of the world. But you do something that's so unique. You do this staging, and you do so much in live theater productions. But one of the other things that I think is really fascinating that you can do is that you do events. Now, I've been to all kinds of events, and whatever they are, the charity events, whatever they may be, companies rolling out a new product, whatever. They want something that's really going to get people's attention. They want something that's special. And I see people on stilts, and, there's some staging involved, and, people in wild costumes, things like that. But what can you do at the events that you guys put on?
Well, I'd say we can, and I'll let Jen explain it better, but roughly I'd say we can do all that too, but we just raise the bar.
We elevate.
We elevate it.
Elevate, as in literally elevate.
Absolutely.
Off the floor, off the ground.
Yeah.
How do you go in and set up, and what might be a typical thing that we might see?
Well, we can talk about like at the MGM Grand. It was a
Okay,
really
wait a
large.
second. The MGM Grand. We're
Yes.
not talking down at Floyd's Barbershop grand opening. We're talking the MGM Grand here.
But we can replicate that at a smaller scale. For example, you can even see on this is at the
Yeah.
River City Casino,
Oh,
where
okay.
he's in our chandelier doing a champagne pour. So that's a smaller scale, but at the MGM Grand, we flew in the CEO up over the audience. I think one of our favorite things that we do of all is that we love to tell a story, because stories transform, stories inspire, stories bond. It taps into a different part of your brain and your heart. And if the whole point of the corporate event typically is either a call to action, you want people to open their wallets, you want to inspire and create teamwork with your team. And so we love to take a theme and then create a story. So the one we did at MGM Grand, they really wanted overcoming was the theme. So we helped write a whole act where she was wrapped in these rhythmic ribbons, and she breaks free and flies, and then we celebrate, and everybody's flying with her, and we do it like Mothmen do with the video content, so it looks like they're flying into outer space, and that mix of what you can do with technology is really one of our favorite things to do. But we can do it, like I said, at a smaller scale, on the ground. The CEO could fly. We can do a champagne
Okay, the
pour.
CEO can fly.
Yeah, that's
I'm
super
sure
fun.
there's going to be a lot of people, they're going to hear this and they go, yeah, I'd love to see my CEO fly on stage. I could either get fired because of that, or I could get a big promotion. Okay, so what's the weirdest thing you've done with a CEO or somebody coming in on stage? How do you do that?
Was it Houston or Dallas, the CEO that came in Mission Impossible style?
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Where Tom Cruise drops
Yes.
down and he's hanging
Yep.
above
Right, yep.
No way.
Yep.
Oh, yeah,
We had
that
a
was
CEO
fun.
hire us to do that for their event.
Yes.
It was pretty cool.
Yep. That was exciting because he really was he was very athletic. Not that you have to be, but he wanted to do something that was extremely big in the sense of that coming down and stopping right before the floor. And that takes a lot of core strength. So
Yeah.
he was able to. But
Yeah.
we can also, that was weird and fun and exciting because
Unique.
there was a slight bit of danger in it. Only a touch, but the rest of them, a lot of the times they're just sitting in a seat harness, and it's very they don't have to do much. They really just have to sit there, you know, wave and then come in. And that's still very exciting for a lot of people.
I was going to say, it would seem to me, you know, I've never done that where I've been in a harness or anything and come out, but I would imagine that it takes quite a bit of, you know, body control.
Oh yeah.
It's probably not as easy as it looks. You say you're just sitting there, but come on.
We can do both, really.
We
You can do all from very athletic to like you are literally just sitting there.
Sitting on an apparatus.
Or a chair. I mean, we can fly anything.
Right.
So it really is the world's oyster that we can figure out how to make that very comfortable or a little bit more.
Wow.
Right. Whether we're bringing in the structural steel, you know, on that one, for example, they had no structural steel available to us in that short amount of time, so we brought in what looks like a swing set. Or we put up trussing, or we use the structural steel of the building. There's a lot of things. I mean, people always say, I would have never thought about this as a business, but somebody has to do the job, right? Somebody has to rig it.
On the Fly Productions, you can check out their website, which is really an incredible website, and there's lots of videos on there. But I wanted to take a second to show one of the videos that describes, it's almost a documentary, and it's involving a show, a stage show for the musical Mary Poppins. And in that show, Mary Poppins obviously has to fly, and so we looked at it a little bit early. We were looking at it before we came on the air and trying to find it here. Which one is it? Which one, guys? Which one is it? Point to go down a little bit,
the one
I think.
you're looking for, I believe, is on the Flying Effects page.
The Flying Effects page?
Yeah, so...
let's try to find that show. So we're looking at, this is the website that you're going to see when you go to On the Fly Productions. Which one is it?
Scroll up to the top of the...
Scroll up to the top. Here we go.
Yeah,
is it not the Peter
Pan?
Pan?
Keep going, scrolling. And it says Choose Your Adventure. If you go down just a little bit.
Come back down. Come back down. No, scroll down a little bit.
Yeah, Choose Your Adventure Flying Effects right there. It should be on
that one?
page.
Okay, that one.
Yeah.
All right, let's try to listen into that one. Like, can we play that?
And then your YouTube.
Or is that okay, keep coming down.
Yep.
Well, now we're looking for Making
There
Mary
it is.
Fly. That's the one right there. Okay, go to this, and we're going to try to play this.
We want to believe in her magic, and we want to believe in her ability, and we want to believe in her power. And so that moment when she takes flight, that solidifies it for us, both for the audience and for the characters on stage.
Flying, if done correctly, is not very dangerous. In fact, more people get hurt dancing than they do flying. Ultimately, though, there is a higher risk if it's not done correctly.
I'll be singing and flying and holding up an umbrella and opening it and carrying a carpet bag at the same time. And yeah, so it's going to be juggling a whole bunch of different things.
Doing it in rehearsal with and without like actually acting and singing will totally benefit me. I'm not a multitasker, but I will try in the next 2 weeks to make sure I am.
We're spending so much time on the safety, making sure everybody's comfortable. They'll get to run it as often as they need to. And then we maintain our standards of efficiency and our high standards of safety. And then we're able to maintain that consistency and beat that challenge.
Honestly, I don't have any concerns. I'm stoked to do it.
I feel a tug, okay, and then you can like...
First thing, we have to work with the artistic and creative staff to understand where we're going to fly and what we want to achieve out of the flight. The most important thing that the operator and the performer have to have is communication. They have to know exactly what's going to happen. They really, you know, have to breathe together. They have to look at each other as one performer.
It's a combination of just very simple things, but it can get to be strenuous. But what kind of technique we're using when we're letting out the rope, you can go underhand, or you can burn the rope, which is just kind of let it go and let it burn through your hands. And it's called burn because it's really, really hot. You know, I like having the responsibility. I've never been more nervous in my life, but you know, it's not necessarily a bad thing.
At first, I had all this energy and adrenaline. I'm like, oh, I'm going to go up in the air and fly. And then when they lifted me up, it was so gentle. That it was like, am I still on the ground?
And my first thought was my feet aren't touching the ground. Oh no, what's happening? I'm afraid of heights, so I just kind of zoned that out. I was actually really surprised how the harness didn't like grab into my body. It didn't yank me or leave any type of bruising so far.
Mary Poppins is kind of magical in the sense of what she does. She's a magical creature, and there's a set of illusions that really go along with the power that she controls. And so flight really sets up her power from the beginning. She flies in.
You know, it's an effect that never gets old. Anything that we can recreate in a live theater setting that is not doable in reality is always going to pack the punch that you want it to.
When you're able to go up and the kids don't see the wire and they're like, wow, how'd that happen? That's exciting to me.
It makes it real. It makes it real, and I think it'll make it not only real for the audience themselves, but for the actors. That here is this person who is just disappearing into the sky. You know, not just walking off stage or going through a trap door, but actually disappearing into the skies, and the magic goes with her as she goes.
Wow, that's amazing. So that's the website is On the Fly Productions. Go check that out. And there's that video and lots of other videos that you will find from On the Fly Productions on that page. I can tell you guys are very comfortable, both of you very comfortable with being part of the theater scene. Jason, you're from Indiana or from Ohio?
Indiana.
Indiana.
Yes.
So I can't ask you the St. Louis question. I can't ask you where'd you go to high school. But Jennifer, where'd you go to high school?
I went to Principia for 2 years of high school.
And so you did you do stage shows there? Did you guys both do you both did your high school musicals? Come on.
Yeah, of course. Oh, 100%.
What were you?
I was the Scarecrow in Wizard of Oz.
Oh, cool.
That's one of my favorite
I
roles
played
was
Dorothy in Wizard of Oz. Not the same production.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, not the same show.
Was that your big one?
That was the big one, my senior one. Yeah, there was a couple others, but that was the one that everyone loves, Wizard of Oz. In fact, that's how we met, was Wizard of Oz show that she was directing. Well, and I was the fly guy.
And full circle, when I was there, I actually did more directing. I marched into at the time, lower school principal, his name was Mr. Clark, and I said, I want to direct your 6th grade production. And he said, great. And I said, I'd like to do Wizard of Oz. And he said, sure thing. And my mom was a director, and she burst my bubble that night and said, you know, you have to pay royalties. Oh. So I went back to him the next day and I said, I think we have to pay royalties. And he's like, sure thing. So yeah, that's how I got my start at 14, directing the Wizard of Oz. And then I met Jason umpteen years later doing the same production.
And for the record, Jigger in Carousel.
Yeah.
I was the
played
bad
Mrs.
guy.
Mullins.
That's a good one.
I was the carousel owner, so I had had a mean
there
short.
There was a really bad line that I can't use on TV to describe you.
Yeah.
The Jigger's line, and if anybody knows the show Carousel, they'll know what line I'm talking about.
Played that in college.
Again, we're going to take just a second here to do some community service, a little bit more of what Cardinal Cowboy does in the St. Louis community.
Okay. Hey everybody, it's John Fogarty. You're kind of a musician on the side, right?
Yeah, I'm going to sing a little bit later today, but not until after the golf.
Right. Summit, great organization. We love you guys. Great interview we had.
Yeah, we had a great podcast.
That was fun, man. That aired on ABC about 6 months ago.
Yeah, probably 6 months ago. It's right fall, I think. So maybe a little more.
Well, you guys do good work. Tell me why you love this event here. You're supporting Will.
Yeah, so Will Be Inspired golf tournament. Veterans, first responders, 100% everything goes right back into it. So always support the best and try to take care of ours and take care of us. Thank you, guys.
That's awesome. There we go. All right, everybody. We'll be back for more. Giddy up. Hey, we're looking for the small business owners and leaders in our community to be on our show. This is the Your Little Castle show. We air 3 times a week, every week on ABC, and we would like to put somebody you know, or maybe it's you, who's a business owner to be on our show. You'll sit right here in our guest chair, right here, sitting here talking to us. We're going to put on the wall your website and everything about you and highlight you as a leader. Fill out the form you see here on our website. It's bigleagues.com. And if you go to bigleagues.com, fill out this form. Takes just a couple seconds, and you can even schedule yourself right here. Schedule yourself to be on the show, and there's no charge for us to record you. There's no charge to be in the studio. Check it out if you would like to be on. Fill out the form again, bigleagues.com. This is where we can turn any interview into a series of clips. Check that out. Go to bigleagues.com.
And again, thanks for Cardinal Cowboy for letting me sit in for him on this program. Paul Brown's my name, with Classic Rock 93.1 and 101.7, and you may have seen me around town. But right now we're talking with the folks from On the Fly Productions, and we've got just a couple or more minutes in this show. You guys do work with lots of people in St. Louis, stages, Coca. You've done lots of things. You're trying to do more event work. I know that's something that you'd like to do more of, but you also work with high schools. High school musicals will hire you.
Absolutely. Peter Pan's, Mary Poppins, Wizard of Oz, Tarzan's. We've also worked on Broadway. We did SpongeBob and King Kong on Broadway and the development of Moulin Rouge in Boston. So we run the whole gamut. I mean, we've worked with there's a middle school, Clayton Middle School, that we did their production of Mary Poppins years ago. So we've done the whole range.
But you guys got to be expensive, right? I mean,
it's not cheap. No, it's definitely not cheap for those type of productions because of the liability, the time, the shipping. For us to, for example, do a job out in California, to get our equipment out there, the freight could run upwards of $4,000 or $5,000 just to freight the steel out there. So it is pretty pricey.
But if you were doing something for a local high school and they need you for, a couple of scenes, I mean, is it doable? Is it feasible?
I think it's very feasible because we're local. So that's why, again, it was why down middle school. That's why I think it becomes so realistic. We've worked with Mobap and Muni and Coca. We're doing something with Coca this summer because they don't have to pay the per diem, the shipping, the hotel. Right. Our people are local, so it's a really nice advantage for them. But it's still upwards into the thousands, just to cover that liability, that $5 million in liability we carry.
Wow. Okay, we've only got about a minute left.
Okay.
I know you've got some camps that you do. Tell me real quick about the camps that you guys do.
We have the most unique camps in town, On the Fly STL Studios. They're held at Principia School, which is centrally located in Town and Country, near 64 and 270. And the kids do a variety of everything. They put a show on by the end of the week, but they learn flying, aerial, dance, acro. They do arts and crafts, prop making, and they just have an incredible week and no devices. We put them away in cubbies and they're not on their phones all week.
That's it. There you go. They don't get to look at their phones, but they do possibly get to fly across the stage.
They do.
And what we do is they're so athletic that we're really good at tiring them out for mom and dad for the evening.
Well, I just want to thank you guys. On the Fly Productions is the name of the company. Check them out. Very unique. Check out their website, On the Fly Productions. Jennifer Ragan and Jason Whicker, the St. Louis-based company, On the Fly Productions, and they will literally make your event come to life. They will make your shows fly, literally and figuratively. Again, my name is Paul Brown. We will catch you next time. This is Your Little Castle on ABC 30. Thanks again for being with me.